1. Solving systems of equations. And we're going to talk about using elimination and substitution.
Can you stop touching me? Oh my god.
Stop.
I'm in a lot of pain right now. You just keep touching me.
Think we're gonna... Just be quiet.
Don't look at me, I wasn't touching.
I know. That's the whole thing. Okay.
No, who was touching?
Just stop talking. Okay, if you have 2x plus y equals 5, and you have 3x minus 2y equals 4, we want to solve the system of equation without graphing this. We want to solve by substitution and elimination, okay? So for substitution, we're going to set one of the equations equal to y or x and then substitute it in. Personally, I would change this black equation into y equals negative 2x plus 5. Because the y already was individual, it had no coefficient in front of it besides 1, so it's easier to use that. I'm going to then take this equation that I just got, and I'm going to substitute it in for the y here.
So that whole equation goes into the y.
So the whole equation goes into the y. So I'm going to rewrite it to say 3x minus 2 times negative 2x plus 5 equals 4.
So it doesn't matter which equation you flip with the
It
y.
doesn't matter which one that you put equal to y, or you can put it equal to x. I'm telling you the easiest thing to do is, if there is no number in front of x or y besides 1, set it equal to that one, okay? That'll be the simplest thing, you won't have fractions.
What? There's no number.
Yeah. The first one.
It, like on this one, there's only a 1 as a coefficient
Oh,
in
okay.
front of here.
So there's
This one has a 2. So
Oh.
don't do that one, it's harder, it takes more steps.
If it doesn't have like a number in front of it?
Yeah, then get it into that y equals or x equals if it doesn't have a number in front of it.
Then is the guessing game in there? Or no?
No, so then I do 3x, negative 2 times negative 2x is 4x, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10 equals 4. I'm going to then combine like terms, 3x and 4x is 7x, and I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So I get 7x equals 14. I divide by 7, and x equals 2. Now I have to take this and plug it back in to the x of any equation, but I'm just going to do that one because it already says y equals. So I get y equals negative 2 times 2 plus 5. So y equals negative 4 plus 5. So y equals 1. Now, to have a correct answer, you're going to give me a answer in system form. So I'm going to say 2, 1 is my solution. I need an ordered pair. Okay. And that's what your solution is for that equation using substitution. So substitution, I'm substituting something in for the other, I'm substituting a whole equation in, and then I'm going to substitute that single answer back into an equation once I get done. Let's try another substitution one, and then we'll do an elimination one. Okay. We'll do a couple eliminations. So another substitution. We're going to go like this. We're going to say one equation is x plus y equals 4. And the other equation is x minus y equals 2. So if I am doing substitution on this one, what equation do you want to change? Say y equals or x equals, which one do you want to use? It doesn't really matter. Top one, you want to say y equals or x equals y. So if I change it to y equals, that means I subtract x from both sides. So you get y equals negative x plus 4. Okay?
C-I-N.
Now I'm going to take this equation here and I'm going to plug it into the y there. So you get x minus negative x plus 4 equals 2. X negative 1 times negative x is positive x. Negative 1 times positive 4 is negative 4 equals 2. I get 2x. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Equals 6 divided by 2, and x equals 3. I take this and I plug it into that x there. So you have y equals negative, and then 3 plus 4. So y equals negative 3 plus 4, which means y equals 1. My ordered pair solution is 3, 1. Okay, that is substitution. Substitution. Then we come to elimination. Oh wait, let me think. Actually, we're not doing elimination. We're going to do graphing this. So this is where you're going to need your graphing calculator. Okay. We can solve either of these equations also. If they say substitution, I have to do it by hand. If they say graphing, I literally am going to get both equations into y equals form. So if I want to solve x plus y equals negative, or equals 4, this is through graphing. And I want to solve x minus y equals 2 through graphing. I've got to change both equations into y equals form first so that I can put them into my graphing calculator. So this one becomes y equals negative x plus 4. And this one, because I have a negative in front of my y, I would have subtracted x, but I'm dividing by negative 1, so I get positive x minus 2. You're going to put both of those equations into your y equals on your graphing calculator. So y equals negative x plus 4 in line 1, and in line 2, you're going to put x minus 2. And then make sure your window is set to the standard settings of negative 10, 10, 1, and then negative 10, 10, 1, and press enter. And you should get 2 lines that cross each other. And if you press the trace feature, you can scroll down to where they cross at to figure out what that solution point is. And on mine it says 3, 1, which is what we got as our answer in the first place. So graphing it is much simpler if you get your equations into the right form. And remember, they have to be in y equals form. They're going to ask you specifically to do substitution on a lot of stuff though too. Let's do substitution with a system of equations that we got to work out a little bit first. So let's say you have x squared plus 4x minus y equals 7. Okay, that's one equation. And then you have 2x minus y equals negative 1. I want to solve that through substitution. How do you think I can solve this through substitution? Which equation would be easier to solve using substitution?
The bottom.
Which one, Lindsay?
The bottom.
Yeah, the bottom one, because there's no squared in there, yeah? There's no x squared. Are we going to set the bottom one equal to x or to y? To y. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I get negative y equals negative 2x minus 1 divided by the negative 1. So my new equation says y equals 2x plus 1. I'm going to substitute this in for the y on that equation. So you get x squared plus 4x, and then you get minus 2x plus 1 equals 7. Okay? So then from there, I'm going to combine like terms, do all that fun stuff. X squared plus 4x, and then I have negative 2x, and I have negative 1 equals 7. We're going to combine like terms and get everything set equal to 0 so I can factor. You're going to have to factor on this one. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides so that I have x squared, and then 4x and negative 2x gives me positive 2x, and then negative 8 equals 0. From here, I have to factor. What multiplies to give me negative 8 and adds to give me positive 2?
Negative 2, 4.
Yes, negative 2 and positive 4. Negative 2, positive 4 equals 0. So x equals 2 or x equals negative 4. Okay, so now I have two things I have to check out to see what my solution is. What's your question, Alex?
Back on the graphing one, for the coordinates, did you just plug stuff in?
No. Once you get the graph up, you press the trace feature. And then you find it by tracing to where the point is. Okay, and it will highlight it and tell you the numbers. That's all you have to do. Okay, so then I have 2 or negative 4 as a solution over here. So now I have two possible solutions, which means I need to plug them into the equations to see if they check out. Okay, I'm going to substitute the values of x back in to the revised equations to figure out if it checks out. Okay, so I'm going to plug it into this equation right here just to see. So let's take these x's and let's plug it in there. Okay, and I'm going to get y equals 2. Let's start with the 2 times 2 plus 1. So y equals 4 plus 1, so y equals 5. So when it's 2, I get 2, 5 as a solution. Okay. Then I'm going to plug it in when it's negative 4, and I'm going to say y equals 2 times negative 4 plus 1, which gives me y equals negative 8 plus 1, y equals negative 7. So I get negative 4, negative 7 as a solution. Okay, I have 2, 5, and negative 4, negative 7 as a solution. This would make sense for two reasons. When something has a squared, what type of function is that? It's not linear, it's what? Quadratic. Quadratic creates what type of graph? A parabola, like this, yes? So it goes through a parabola on a graph. It's going to look something like this, right? And then this function here is a linear function, yes? So when I draw my line, how many times is it going to cross through that parabola? Twice.
Oh,
Once here, once here.
that's what I meant, but.
That's why I have 1, 2 solutions. Okay? So when you're dealing with a quadratic with substitution, you're going to get 2 solutions. Okay? It is annoying. You just have to plug it in twice. I know. So yes. And then let's talk about one other example and we'll be done. Let's do this. Let's try solving the system of negative x,
Can I do that real quick?
yep, plus y equals 4. And then my other equation is going to say x squared plus y equals 3. Okay? Let's solve through substitution again. How would I solve this? Which one? What do you want to set equal to 0? What do you want to do? Or not set equal to 0. What one do you want to set equal to y or x? Which equation would be easiest? Just the top one. All I have to do is add x to both sides, right? So y equals x plus 4. I'm going to take this. I'm going to plug it in right there. So you're going to get this. X squared plus x plus 4 equals 3. So you're going to get x squared plus x plus 4 equals 3. You're going to subtract 3 from both sides. X squared plus x plus 1 equals 0. What factors to give, what multiplies to give me 1 and adds to give me 1?
What factors will give you one, adds will give you one.
It's what? Yeah, it's not possible, right? Because if I factor this, I have x plus 1. If I did x plus 1 and x plus 1, that would give me a 2 in the middle. Okay? So I have to use quadratic formula from here. Okay? So I'm going to use quadratic formula to double check. So opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I get negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 4 over 2, which is negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 over 2. What's wrong with that? There's a negative in the radical. I cannot have that. So this equation is no solution.
You just don't make it an imaginary number.
I hate
You
those
don't
ones
make it an
because you do
imaginary
all that
number.
work and then it just ends up being pointless, you know? You feel?
I see what you're saying, Dakota, yes.
Feel that.
It's not pointless, but I hear you.
It is pointless though.
And so that is what you're working on tonight on your homework.